everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Sports Report here on TV3. We really appreciate you joining us, and here we have Brent Duncan, who is Director of Athletics at CHS, to be with us. Sam isn't here, but Brent is, so we're ready to go talk of sport and sports.
Yeah, I don't know where Sam didn't warn us that he was going to be gone. So.
Well, those things happen. You never know.
You do. That's correct. So.
Spartans girls have underway in their season. They lost a new pal, but they won a ball game, and that it wasn't a tourney they had Saturday here at Spartan Bowl. It was just an event.
It was just Southport called us 3 years ago and wanted to know if we wanted again. We'd already played Cardinal Ritter on this Saturday, and they said, you want to go together with us, and we'll play Decatur Central, and we'll just rotate it around. And so us and Southport will always play Cardinal Ritter and Decatur Central.
Okay.
So we played Decatur Central in the morning, kind of got off to a sluggish start, and got it back, and got beat by 7 in that game, and then came back that night and beat Cardinal Ritter by 28. So it was a good day for the girls, and the JV team won both of their games this weekend, so they went 2-0 on the weekend after a little rough start for both teams against New Pal. I don't know if it was his first game jitters or got off to a quick start at New Pal and didn't seem to be able to throw it in the ocean after we got ahead a little bit. And so we'll see. But
they're a pretty strong team, aren't they, at New Pal? Yeah,
they've been pretty good. They've lost some girls to transfers, but they still have a pretty solid team. The coach's daughter's a pretty aggressive little point guard and pretty good defender, and and that wears off and rubs off on the other kids as well. So when your best kid plays that hard and that aggressive, then the rest of them kind of join in with them. So girls will get a week of practice since our game on Friday night with Mount Vernon has been moved to November the 16th, which is next Tuesday, because Brandon and I, the AD at Mount Vernon, had discussed one day last week, one of us were going to be in a regional game, so we didn't want to pit our girls' basketball team against a football team and vice versa.
Right.
So we didn't want to have our fans or our kids split decisions of where they're going to go. So we both found a date, and we're going to play that on the 16th. And then so we're off until Saturday when we host the Lady Raiders of Shenandoah for a nighttime game at the Bowl. So hopefully we'll get win number 2 and be 2-2 on the season and head into the next week.
Well, I know the girls are very happy, and Michelle is with a victory, and looks like things have turned around and things are on their way up.
Well, it's for Michelle, it's the first summer she's truly had with the kids to kind of get everything she wants to do. For us in the coaching world, we know that players are made in the summer, and winter's where you showcase what you learned in the summertime. And unfortunately for her, she's not had a couple summers. So hopefully that'll be a little benefit. I think winning can breed success. And we actually heard one of the JV girls say, "That's good. I'm tired of losing. Let's just get some more of these wins." So
that's a great attitude.
It's a little good sign of the competitiveness there, I think, has come around. And, if you come and watch them, you'll see a different style. It's we do still play some zone, but we do also mix up man and full court press and play a lot more motion offense on the offensive end instead of pattern offense and standing and shooting a 3. So our girls are posting and looking for the lobs and trying to do all the little plays inside and pound it in there to open up the shooters from the outside. So.
Well, we hope the girls do well and the attendance is good, and it'll be a 6 o'clock start for the JV team.
6 o'clock on Saturday night, and hopefully, as I said, the girls JV's now 2-1, and varsity's 1-2, and hopefully the JV will be 3-1, and the varsity will be 2-2 after Saturday night. But it's a good afternoon on Saturday. It started early in the morning at 10, and we wrapped it up about 10 at night by the time we were all done. So long day. I think the teams there had a good time. They all went to eat someplace in town. So some businesses got a little bit of extra money in their pocket over the Saturday. And I know they all went somewhere because they all left the gym and came back at about 3 o'clock. So.
Next year it will be at?
Next year, I believe it's supposed to be at Decatur Central.
Okay.
So I can't remember if we were supposed to be at Ritter last year or Decatur Central. It was one of those two. And I think we were supposed to be at Ritter. But with COVID, they had to cancel it. So we'll see. But I'm pretty sure it's at Decatur Central for next year.
In addition to the regular schedule, you can have a tourney or an event like this and then another one.
Well, the rules state you can play 22 games completely, so I can play 22 different schools if we want. You can play 20 different schools and have a tournament. And you can be in more than one tournament, but the number of games in the other tournament count against your other 20 games, if that makes any sense.
So regularly schedule is at 18?
22. So if we don't play any tournaments at all, we can play 22 games.
Okay.
And then, so we'll just take the boys when they were in the wedding before, or the girls went in the Rumble. We played 20 in that tournament, and they may play 3 or 4 games in that tournament, and that's okay. But if you play a second tournament, then the games in the second tournament have to come off the 20 that you're allowed to play. So
it's an IHSA rule.
That's IHSA rule. Limited number of games you can play, number of opportunities. Every sport has a different number. Basketball's 22, football's 9, not counting a tournament. Wrestling, you can accumulate 18 points. So once you get past 18 points, you can't have any more matches. So single matches count as 1, and anybody that has 4 or more schools count as 2. So you got to figure out how many tournaments you're in. And
you keep all this straight?
I try. We don't overschedule because you're against the rules if you overschedule. So
right, you're right.
You can underschedule, but you can't overschedule.
Okay.
So, you know, and unfortunately, sometimes we have schools that we lose, and we try to pick up games. You know, maybe the season started and they don't have a team, and then, or somebody gets sick, and you try to find a game. And sometimes, most of the time you can, but once in a while you don't. You may not find one that fits in the spot, or can't someone close enough that wants to play that has an opening. But knock on wood, that hasn't happened. So. Unless we get our snow out and just can't squeeze it back into the schedule at some time.
Do you get inquiries from other schools if you have an opening?
Yeah, I mean, you can post them certain places, and you can put a feeler out and say, hey, we need a basketball team, or I'll just take the girls' game with Mount Vernon. My 5 officials that were scheduled to work on the Friday night game may have a game on Tuesday. So then I email them first, and if they're open, I give it back to them. And some of them were open for this Tuesday, so they just found some other people to work with them, and then 2 of them weren't, so I had to put a feeler out and scramble to get some more officials in for next Tuesday. But they're all set and ready to go. So
that's good.
Do the same thing with the game. So there's a site that the athletic directors can get to that the general public cannot get to, and we have the ability to email every school in the state at one time. Or we can email just the people in the middle, or the southern, or district, or 2A, or 1A, or 3A, whichever size school you want to look at. You can set the parameters of where you want your email to go. So.
Football season is over at CHS. They went to Mount Vernon for finals in sectional and didn't have a whole lot of luck.
No, Mount Vernon's pretty solid.
Yes.
From top to bottom, they're obviously bigger than we are size-wise. Blessed with a little more foot speed than we have. But our kids battled and played hard. And
sure.
You know, they scored down on first possession, and we were driving down the field, and unfortunately threw a pick. It got tipped and went over our receiver's head, and then they picked it off. And you know, just a lot of things. But, you know, you see a lot of improvement. It's just about getting bodies and having a number of kids that we can rest kids and put kids in the right spots that needs to be there, instead of just kind of filling in with what you have sometimes to make sure we have enough. But hopefully with their little big success, you know, 2 games last year, 3 games this year, maybe we get 4 or 5 next year, and maybe some kids will come out that will help us. I've said it a lot of times. There's a lot of kids walking the hallway that could help our teams. And some of them aren't even athletes and never been in sport, but you see them walking in the hallway and they don't play anything. And you talk to them, well, I'd rather do this, or I got to do this, or, you know, you only get a chance to be a teenager for a short period of time. You know. So come out and enjoy it. I mean, I don't care if it's sports or band or choir or the drama, whatever, get involved. And sure makes high school a lot more pleasant experience from top to bottom.
Mount Vernon will be playing Roncalli.
Yeah, I didn't look, but I was assuming Roncalli would have beaten Chittard.
I think Roncalli,
Roncalli's 12-0, and Mount Vernon's now 11-1. They got beat by Noblesville in the first game of the year, and have won 11 in a row. So I think they have to travel no matter what. So I think Mount Vernon's at Roncalli.
I believe, yes.
I'm sure it'll be a good game, and in those 2 schools, I'm not sure who's going to come out on top. So,
well, it'd be nice to have a team that we played go far.
Well, it's always nice to say you got beat by the state champion.
That's
so
right.
There's no reason why you shouldn't. You know, everybody else has lost 2-2. So we'll wish Brandon and the Marauders a lot of luck as they head into the game this week. For those of you who used to know them as the Roncalli Rebels, they're no longer the Roncalli Rebels; they're the Roncalli Royals. So in today's world, the names have changed. So we'll wish the Marauders luck against the Royals for Friday night.
What's the enrollment at Mount Vernon? Are they?
I can't remember. He told me. They're a little over 1,000 if I remember right. So, and we're probably in about 970 right now. So they're bigger than we are, but they're going to continue to grow. You know, the east side of Indianapolis is not shrinking; it's continuing to grow. And the more it grows, and then the northwest side's growing. So Danville's not a big school yet, but I can see them starting to expand and grow a little bit as Indianapolis starts to continue to spread out. So
Danville, is that possibly an opponent of the Spartans?
They come to our wrestling classic, but I don't know if it would ever be. I mean, we've offered and we've reached out, but, sometimes it's just a matter of drive and time. And being on the northwest side, it'd be a little tough to get there. So it fits into a Saturday game, maybe. I don't know. But, we're looking for somebody in a couple of years to replace. Lawrence North is going off our schedule after this year for the boys team, and we're going to pick up one school for 1 year. So we're looking for a 2-year down the road for a Saturday afternoon game. I know Coach has talked to somebody that has expressed some interest, so good. I won't reveal that any names or teams, but we'll scratch that surface a little bit and see if we can get them down here.
Well, with the tremendous fan following the Spartans have, I would think it would help in scheduling someone.
Well, I think a lot of schools that we play understand that for whatever reason, for the last 50 years, basketball has been the biggest sport follower for most of our fans in the county. I prefer they all come to watch all of our games. It'd be nice to see 1,000 kids watching our baseball and our softball team as well. And even at New Pal tonight, we had a good following of fans for the girls' game. And by far on Saturday night, we had the biggest crowd of anybody at the shootout. Saturday morning's a little thin for everybody, but I know it's Saturday morning at 10, and then it was nice weather outside.
10 o'clock in the morning.
So, we're going to have a couple more of those. In December, the girls' game's going to start at 9, and it's going to be a long day of basketball
And that's between the holidays, isn't it? That's
December 23rd. So.
Okay, and that's boys and girls.
Yep, four boys games that day and 4 girls games that day. So hopefully we'll stay on time, and we'll use the Spartan Arena to help warm up in. And
starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. And how much time do you permit between games?
We're going to hope to kick them off every hour and a half. That's the goal.
Every 90 minutes.
Every 90 minutes is a goal from 9 to 7:30. So we're hoping it can stay on task, and we don't have a lot of overtime games that get us off schedule. But, even if we get off schedule a bit, even, a normal varsity game doesn't almost start till 7:30, 7:45, depending on what the JV game does prior to that. So even if we started at 8 like they used to do in the old days all the time, and when I first started coaching, they were 6:30 tip-off times for JV and 8 o'clock tip-off times for the varsity. And became 6 and 7:30, just like football used to be 7:30 kickoffs, and now there's 7 kickoffs. So.
Yes.
For whatever reason, it got switched to that, but that's where we're at now.
Sure.
So, but we'll see what happens. It's a new experience for all of us, and we'll see if we can get it done.
Look forward to the tourney, and the teams that are coming in can you bring us up to date again on that?
For the basketball one?
Yes.
The girls will have Winchester, Cowan, and Madison along with us.
Okay.
And the boys have 2, as I said before, we had 2 really solid 1A programs that wanted to play some bigger schools. So they were one of the first 2 to reach out to us. And so it's South Decatur, Monroe Central, and then Bloomington North is coming up as well. So it'll be us, Bloomington North, Monroe Central, and South Decatur.
Should be a great tourney.
It's a great opportunity to come to the bowl and experience the bowl experience, and great venue to watch a game in. And if you're a basketball junkie, there's 8 games in about 11 and a half hours, whatever it is. So
is that on a Thursday?
Saturday day. The 22nd. 23rd would be a Thursday.
Okay.
Because it's the first day of Christmas break, in fact.
We need nice weather now.
We need nice weather all the time.
Okay.
It can snow on Christmas Eve and then melt on the day after Christmas.
That's a good idea.
And I'd be all right.
We'll put the order in for that and see what happens. So it's going to be interesting. First time that we've had something during the holidays here in a long time.
Yeah, other than our big wrestling
Spartan
tournament.
Classic, right.
It's all set to go for the 28th and the 29th, so we'll have all 32 teams in. I got them all confirmed and ready to roll. They've all verified. I know they're getting tired of me asking because things always seem to change, so I've asked them all at least 3 times, and so far I've assumed if they said yes 3 times, I'm solid now.
That's great.
So, but I've got 2 other teams that are wanting in, so I always make sure they're all coming because if not, I got 2 ready to roll. So
that's great. You have a backup.
Yeah, it would be nice. I mean, we don't always get every weight class filled with 16 wrestlers because not everybody has a 106-pounder sometimes or 113 or whatever it is.
Sure.
So you always wonder if you shouldn't have some other teams on standby and just bring some individuals, but that kind of messes up the team atmosphere a little bit. So it's really not. It is an individual tournament. It's an individual team tournament. So you'd have to have only part of a team here and not be able to bring their whole team in. So we always try to look for teams that can fill all 14 weight classes. It's not always possible. Things ebb and flow throughout different schools. And, we've had times where we've had 16 to 20 wrestlers, but we can't fill all of our weight classes because they're all in the same.
Yes.
The kids weigh the same, and they got to wrestle each other to get the top spot. And so we don't always get the wrestling classes all filled just because of who happens to be out on the wrestling team. So hopefully with our 2 new coaches, and they'll stir the pot a little bit and kind of pick up some more kids.
Well, hopefully, that event is more than just one wrestling going on at a time, isn't it?
No, there's 4 mats on the floor at the same time.
At the same time.
8 officials, 4 mats, and I stay out of the way and let all my workers do the work because they seem to make them nervous when I get there. So I just kind of do around and do the little grunt work and take care of things, and I let them keep the score and do all the paperwork, and they're happy when I'm not around the scores table.
So that's how you get through the day, having multiple ones going on at the same time.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of time. We'll start the first day wrestling right around 9 as quickly as we can. 9's the goal. Sometimes we have to redraw the brackets depending on the number of people may not be there, so we have to shift kids around so we don't have a bunch of forfeits on one side of the bracket and everybody else is on the other side of the bracket wrestling. So sometimes we get started a little bit after 9, but we try to shoot for 9 o'clock. And we get done about 6 at night.
Where are some of the teams coming from?
Oh, geez. There's
all over?
Benton Central, there's Beech Grove, there's Valparaiso, Portage, Charlestown, Providence, which is all down in the south. And of course, obviously, Valpo and Portage is up in the region. Fort Wayne Snyder used to come. They're not coming this year. East Noble, which is up by Fort Wayne. Carroll from Fort Wayne used to come. They got out a couple of years ago. New Pal, Anderson, Rushville, Columbus North. So.
Can they make that one day? Do they come that day?
A lot of them will spend the night. They'll come down the day before and find a hotel somewhere close. Of course, obviously, we don't have a lot of hotel space in Connersville. So, and I've got 4 of the rooms at the Woodridge for my 8 officials. So I don't know how many rooms they have there all together, but I have 4 of them taken. So, and we try to tell them, Rushville's got a couple little small hotels, and Richmond's in a 25-minute drive. So
a full wrestling team comprises of how many kids?
14 weight classes. So, and they can each have an alternate. We don't let them switch classes when they get here. You got to sign in at this weight. And if you don't make the weight, the alternate can get in there, but you can't juggle yourself up and down the lineup. That just creates chaos for us at the scorers table. So.
And the classes start where at
106 and go up to the maximum you can weigh is 285.
Do we have any like that?
We may have a 285. We did. I mean, Schaefer wrestled 285 last year at 255 because there's a big gap from. I almost think a 106 is too little. It's hard to find a 106-pounder in high school.
Sure.
You're really pretty petite and kind of skinny, but there's a big gap from 220 to 285. So maybe in time they'll put us a weight class between 220 and 285, and maybe 106 will be gone, and we'll just have 14 weight classes in different spots. So they've always switched. At one time, if you remember, a long time ago, smallest weight class was 98 pounds. So, and there was no limit on what the heavyweight could weigh. So you could weigh 350 pounds if you wanted to, but now the maximum anybody can weigh is 285. So,
what kind of an awards go to the winners? Trophy or what?
Well, we have 3 classes. We split the schools into 3 groups. There's the 3A, the 2A, and the 1A, and that's just based on enrollment, so that the kids who have 500-pound, kids in the class aren't necessarily. Carmel was here with 5,000. They're not competing in the same.
Yes.
Now they're competing for the overall title. So we have an overall title, we have a runner-up title, and then we have an individual team trophy for the different classes. Class 1A will have a winner, Class 2A will have a winner, and Class 3A will have a winner. And then we give out an award for the kid who has the most pins in the day. Typically, unfortunately, it comes from a kid who got beat early and has to wrestle much more matches, so they have more opportunities to get a pin. If you don't win and you win your weight class, the most matches you're going to wrestle is 5, but if you get in the loser's bracket, you could end up wrestling 8. So that typically is where the winner of the most pins comes from, is from somebody that's come out of that loser side. So
we're nearing the start of the season for wrestlers.
Wrestlers started practice last week, and they're going to have a match coming up here on the 20th, so a couple weeks out. I think it's their first date at Lawrence Central. Either it's at Lawrence Central or Lawrence North. They alternate which gyms they go to. And then we'll go to Rushville, and then we got Homestead. We'll have nights down in Union County at our place, and then we'll go up to Homestead. And big 5-day tournaments or 1-day tournament, wrestle 5 times in a day. That's the maximum you can wrestle in one day is 5 matches. So,
how's it looking as far as filling the different weight sizes?
We're still short a few, so we need to get some kids out that want to come out and wrestle. And hopefully some of the kids that play football, now that football's over, will venture over into wrestling, so we'll know more by the end of the week about number of kids and which weight classes we're at, and and hopefully we'll get some filled. Hopefully there's some kids who didn't wrestle last year that says they're going to wrestle this year, so we'll see where we fall here now by the end of the week. Next week we'll get them all weighed in, and you have to have a body weight, and you have to print out, and you got to put it in a schedule, and they can only lose so much weight a week, and It tells you how skinny they can get. It's not like the old days where you can go drop 20 pounds in a week and wrestle 2 classes below.
Right.
When you type it in, you get a maximum and a minimum. This is the minimum weight you can never weigh. So try to do their health stuff and keep them safe.
That's your job to watch that?
After every match, they have to send me the weigh-in sheets, and I enter it to the computer, and they either get a little green light or a red one that says they made it correctly or they didn't. If they don't make it 6 times, they don't get to wrestle in a state tournament. So that keeps kids from trying to cut weight too much, and coaches trying to make kids cut weight too much.
Because that is a health problem.
It is a health problem. And, you know, if you're under 7% body fat, you have to get permission from the IHSA to be under 7%, so you have to get a doctor's note. So they're trying to do good things about keeping kids safe and not letting them cut weight too much. You know, and I never wrestled, but I know back when my friends wrestled, they'd cut weight. They'd sleep in sweatsuits and blankets and sit in a sauna room.
Wow.
They'd try to drop 5, 6, 7, 8 pounds in a night just to get to the next weight class down sometimes. And then I don't know if that's healthy for you, even strength-wise. So most coaches today are pretty good about keeping them where they're at when they come in. So we'll see. Boys swimming starts today. Boys basketball practice starts today. So gymnastics will kick off next week. So we're almost got them all in gear right now.
Yeah, middle school starts.
Middle school boys had their boys tryouts already, so they're in a practice mode. There's no games until the 15th for them.
The 15th, I think they had St. Michael coming in here.
Yeah, and then that's the same day our freshman girls will start we'll have a C team. They're going to play Batesville on that night as well. So that's the first time that our sub-varsity, besides our JV and varsity kids have played. So obviously the girls have played at the varsity and JV level, but that'll be the first time that our younger kids get to play in about a week. So
the middle school games, home games, are at Spartan Arena?
Spartan Arena. Usually typically enter from the northeast door over there off of Indiana Avenue. So their ticket prices are $5 for admission for everybody that's school age and up, and seats about 400 people in there, maybe a little bit more than 400, maybe 6.
It's a nice facility.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in enough gyms to know that we have a pretty good facility for our middle school people.
Yes, yes.
I've been in varsity gyms that aren't that big, so it's just a matter of what you want to get done when you're putting it together. So,
what's the admission charge usually for a middle school game?
$5, just like everything's $5.
Okay.
Doesn't matter if it's varsity, JV, freshman. You can get your all-sport tickets now still if you want to get those. They're still available, so we don't cut those off. If you get them now, you just missed out on the fall season, but you still got winter and spring coming, and they're well worth their money if you go to the winter things even. So you'll get your money's out of it.
Well, we urge folks to look into that because it is a bargain.
Yeah, I mean, for adults, it's $60. It covers, you get 12 games in under your belt. You paid for your ticket. So whether it's girls, boys, wrestling, swimming, gymnastics, baseball, softball, track, whatever you want to see in the spring. We don't charge for tennis and golf, so those things are free. So,
well, hopefully the folks will take advantage of the all sports ticket because it is quite a value.
Yeah, I mean it's great entertainment too. Nothing like supporting high school kids, and those are our future kids that's going to be running our businesses and running our cities. So it's always nice to come out and get to know them and see what they can do and what kind of people we have at our school.
Well, it's you run a good program here, and we're lucky to have that, I think.
Yeah, I think our kids are great. I mean, you hear so many negative things about people, but if you come and watch our kids, they're awesome.
Yeah.
They're good kids. They're great students. Most of them carry over a 3-point GPA, and a lot of them carry over 3.5s, which is A minus. For the most part. Many of them are straight A students. They put a lot of hour in the classroom as well as on the athletic fields, and I don't think people always see the backside of that. They learn to budget their time and do all the things right, and kids you're proud of putting out there. So
kids are smart, and that's a big part of it.
Well, after coaching for many years, it's a lot easier to coach a kid that can learn than a kid that doesn't want to listen. So sometimes that athletic kid that doesn't pay attention isn't as good as the kid who's just a little bit less athletic, that has a good listening and able to apply what's learned. But, you hope they all can get into that mode and you find the buttons that push them the right way and get the best out of all of them.
Kids play hard, play smart, and that's the key to the win.
Yeah, I think we've all said in gyms or fields or whatever, you're up and you're wondering why you're doing some of the things you're doing. Like, we're ahead by so many points or we got so many runs hands. Why are we trying to do that? So it's about getting kids to thinking. And I've made this comment before, and I'm watching teams, and sometimes you don't know if kids have an idea what they should do because they haven't played just enough on their own.
Yes.
I now see more kids who I think in the sport has an idea of what should be taking place. And that's a tribute to our coach as well, of instilling that into the kids and make them think through the game and not just go play.
How many years were you a coach?
Too many. I started coaching in 1984 and at Tell City High School down on the river, and then I got out in 2008.
Okay.
For sure,
pretty good career in coaching.
So, lots of different sports, so it was a good time.
Are coaches superstitious?
Some are very superstitious.
I was going to say they wear the same socks.
Our girls' soccer coach might be the most superstitious person that we have on our staff.
Really?
Yeah. Coach Cooley.
Okay, and
when he was coaching JV boys basketball, if we won, he would go home and wash every stitch of clothes that he had from head to toe, and he'd have to wear the exact same stuff the next day if there was a game, or whenever the next game there was. If he lost, he never wore it again. So, and he parks his car in the same spot, and before he went on, dropped some weight, he'd always eat the same thing from McDonald's. So then he switched his diet, then ate the same different. Has to sit in the same seat in faculty meetings. And
did you have that problem?
No.
Being superstitious?
No.
Really?
I didn't really have any. I didn't have to do anything the same way every day. So.
Okay. Well, that's
I played with a lot of kids that were superstitious. Had to eat the same thing. Had to sit in the same spot. It didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Tied their shoes. Put this shoe on first and put that shoe on second.
Yes. Yes.
Had to have this collar string in the left shoe, and we were black and gold in high school, so they had to have the black one in the left and the gold one in the right, or vice versa. So.
That's interesting.
I don't think I had any of those.
What kind of success did you have as a coach?
No, I don't know. It was a long time. It's just, I think your successes come and go. I didn't keep track of records.
Mm-hmm.
As the JV coach, it's hard because sometimes you don't always know who you're going to have, so it's a game by game. So our goals as the younger kids is just trying to get them to be prepared for the varsity level.
Yeah.
So, I've helped with football and track and cross country and baseball and basketball. And my wife has done gymnastics and track, and it's been.
Do you have a favorite?
Me?
Favorite
no, I don't
sport?
think I have a favorite.
Okay.
They're all good for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you coach track, it's a little more laid back because it's so individual. A little different atmosphere. You know, when you're in a gym and there's people around, and the game's online, and basketball's a little more intense at times. Not that you don't get intense in track, but it's a totally different atmosphere, the type of sport compared to basketball or baseball or anything like that. So.
Well, we're hoping for a great season of sports here in the fall season for CHS. We wish all the teams the very best of luck, and boy, they're right around the corner. They'll all be going.
Girls swimming starts this coming Saturday at Beach Grove, so they'll make their first road trip, and girls meet only, so we'll get them off and running, and hopefully they'll come back and still can look for some people to come out and help the swimming. Boys are starting today, so let's hope we get good numbers, and I think we got 10 or 12, 14 girls swimming, and we'd like to see that in the 20s and the 30s just to build our program back up. So
it takes time to build.
Yeah, it does. I mean, everybody wants to do it in 3 years, and sometimes you don't have enough movement in 3 years to make things happen. So sometimes it takes a little bit longer because of whatever was taught to the younger kids is still coming. So until you can reteach all that and change that, reprogram that, you know, whether it's baseball, softball, whatever, basketball, football, you got to change that mentality of what they've been taught, even at a younger level, till you get what you want in. So sometimes it takes a little longer than that.
Well, the coaches all need to be congratulated because they really turn out some great kids that come out of CHS.
Yeah, that's what we tell them all the time. You know, athletics is going to take you some places, but academics is going to take you further, and your character is going to take you a lot farther. So, and I think we have a lot of great kids with a lot of great families, and I think a lot of people in our community are proud of what our kids do, and I know the athletic department in the school is.
Coach, thanks a lot for joining us and bringing us up to date on what's happening at CHS, and everything's right around the corner and opening up.
I'm happy to be here to talk about our kids.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, everybody, for watching this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. Good night.